Harold, the space is incredible. This OTT space, these new virtual MVPDs, this sort of new way that people are consuming television. Tell us sort of why that's happening and what you guys are doing in the space.
What Pluto is doing in this space is just absolutely incredible. We are bringing enormous amount of content, the largest free AVOD streaming site in the U.S., almost roughly 185 different channels, content for everywhere, going across all the demographics, and everything is free, and we're bringing a great value proposition for clients to reach primarily all those cord cutters and cord nevers that are not out there watching cable. And from that perspective, we're seeing enormous growth. We're seeing 18 million monthly viewers coming into Pluto TV, watching content, spending 185 minutes a session, and we're just seeing an explosion in video content.
So what are some of the metrics? We hear a lot about demands for performance and demands around attribution. What are some of those demands that you're hearing, and how are you addressing those?
You know, we work with all the advertisers, and we sit down and we really have a mantra within our ad sales department. You know, we care about everything and anything about the client, but the really two things we focus on most is growing their market share and increasing their sales. So when we talk about the metrics with them, we like to get more involved in, you know, during the process, during the ad campaign, how are we doing it? Are we seeing an increase in lift in sales? And looking at some of that attribution and then tying it all back together and saying, okay, what did we learn? What worked? What didn't work? And let's fix that and move forward for the future.
So for someone who's a veteran of television, relying on Nielsen back in the old days, and certainly perhaps now, what are some of the tools you're using?
We use pretty much every tool that's out there. As you know, there's so much different technology. From Millward Brown, we'll do attribution studies, we'll do brand studies with clients. Every tool that's out there, we'll look at the time spent, we'll look at the metrics on the MAUs that's out there. There's just an enormous amount, and it's continuing to grow. Eventually, I think there'll be some consolidation, and there'll be some measurement that will get set in place for the long term, where clients and hopefully the platforms will all agree and be unified, and then we'll move forward from there as an industry. But I think right now it's still early part of the game, and they're just figuring it out.
So you're in a very dynamic time now, and we hear a lot about cord cutting and OTT, and we heard about the Peacock, we hear a lot about the upcoming services. How is Pluto going to sort of grow in this crowded field that's going to be becoming more crowded? Some call it the streaming wars.
Yeah, you know, listen, the streaming wars, there's a million terms out there. The good news for Pluto is that, you know, we're pretty much first to market in the AVOD. We're very unique in how we go out there, being free, bringing a ton of different content. You know, you talk about the Peacocks, you know, is it really free? Do you have to go in and do you have to authenticate? You know, the new Flexbox that came out last week, you know, you still have to pay a deposit. It's only one per household. There's just a lot of learning that needs to still go out there. So I think it's, you know, what I look at is the age of acceleration. Every one of these platforms are looking to be bigger and better and faster. Ultimately, I think it needs to slow down a little bit and get a better understanding for the industry and for advertisers of what does this all mean for the consumers and the viewers, and go from that perspective.